My hands used to tremble so much when I'd paint. My head would be filled with all these ideas and I just didn't know what to put on the canvas. It wasn't artist's block. Quite the opposite, actually. It was as if I had all these different things that I wanted to do, and I just couldn't decide which to do first. Which idea to let out of my brain so that they could live on a canvas instead. I was meant to be good at this. I was meant to be the best at this. That's how I got into this art school after all. I'd spent so many months here already making a name for myself, and for some reason, I guess I had just run out of gas. And then in you came on that fateful day. Hair a mess, clothes covered in dried paint. The professor asked you why you looked so disheveled, and you said you weren't here to impress anyone. You were just here to paint. It was so obvious, but it was something that I just couldn't grasp. I had been working so hard to make a name for myself, and yet you didn't need that. You didn't need any of this. It was in that small moment I knew I needed to find out more about you. My quiet nature can be both a blessing and a curse, but it complemented well with your outgoing nature. You never noticed me as I sat behind you in class. I tell myself it was so I could watch you paint, but deep down, I think part of it was because I didn't want you to see what I was painting. How my brush strokes began to mirror yours. How some days I'd wind up painting the exact same thing as you. Or how on other days, I would just paint you. Your shape, your hands as they gripped the brush, the little splatters of paint that always seemed to find their way to your cheeks. Piece after piece after piece, it was just more of you. All of the paintings started to fill up my home, and visions of you started to fill my head. Curiosity for you turned into interest, and interest turned into love. I began to love you, and all of your imperfections, and how you'd come in late every day, and how you'd hum little songs to yourself while you worked. You were such a marvel to watch. I got tired of waiting for you to come to me every day, so instead, I decided to come to you. One day after class ended, I quickly picked up my things and approached you. Hi. I introduced myself, but you stopped me. With that same glowing smile. You said you recognized me, and that you loved my work. You do? It took everything in me to hide my excitement. Thank you. To think that you, the person I've grown so fond of, the person I've been watching for God knows how long, liked my work? I could have fainted. I stayed on topic, though, as hard as it was. I told you I've been having some trouble, and that I needed some inspiration. I have all these ideas running around my head, and I told you how interesting I thought your work was. Your work is just so fascinating. And I asked if you'd like to get together sometime over the weekend. You know, just to share ideas. My heart never raced so fast. But like it was nothing at all, you smiled and you'd said you'd love to have me. That you had a small studio we could work in if I didn't mind being so close to you. Yes, sure, of course. That sounds great. I'll see you then. And that studio of yours was everything I thought it would be. Just as chaotically beautiful as you. With paint and charcoal and parchment and tools just strewn around everywhere. You apologized for the mess, but I didn't mind. No, it's fine. Not at all. I actually like it. We painted and talked, and before I knew it, the day had ended, and we parted ways. I felt like I was walking out of heaven when I left you. I didn't sleep a wink that night. My head was spinning with thoughts of you. Thoughts of us making art together. Thoughts of all the things that we could do. The next week I came to you again, this time right in the morning. I couldn't wait until after class this time. I was a bit more frantic this time, but I asked if we could meet up again. Maybe we could make it a regular thing. I just get so much more done when I'm with you. It was a lie. The ideas were still stuffed in my head. But it didn't matter because you were there, sitting across from me. And as long as you were there, it didn't matter what else happened in my head. You agreed to making it a regular thing, saying it was nice to have a friend around. And I laughed and took my spot behind you in class again. We met constantly, every single day after class, sometimes for hours. You must have felt it too, the warmth growing between us. You must have loved me as much as I loved you. You just had to. It was only a matter of time before the warmth in my chest burned too hot for me to control. I just needed more of you. How much closer could I get to you? My paintings started becoming so detailed. Every single strand of your hair, every freckle, every single birthmark. I never dared show you my paintings. Because even though they seemed so precise, none of them were ever perfect. The colors never seemed right. It bothered me to no end. That I could never paint the perfect picture of you. I could never give you something you truly deserved. Until that night. The night that I finally realized what I needed. I needed you. I couldn't recreate you with these shoddy paints and pigments. If I was going to make this perfect, I needed you. The source, your skin, your hair, your blood. I could never make something as perfect as you. I could never even come close. No matter how detailed it could have been. So one night, during one of our sessions, I decided to finally show you my work. Hey, can I show you something? You were impressed by the detail. How I knew about every single inch of your skin. Everything from the scar on your lip, or the freckle on your collarbone. Oh, I'm just really observant. I told you it's not complete. That I needed your help. Will you help me finish it? At first you were hesitant, but you just have that kind nature that I love so much. You picked up your paints and you came closer to me. It's a shame that the pigments you held in your hands weren't good enough to capture your true essence. The only thing that would be good enough is you. You reached for a brush and I grabbed your wrist, and I just gave you one small, tiny little slice. The red of your blood was so perfect. Like tiny little rubies falling from your wrist. So beautiful. I suppose I got a little carried away. But could you blame me, my love? I'd finally found the perfect color. Yes. My mind went quiet. All of the buzzing and all the ideas that were floating around before finally stopped and came together into one. I finally knew what I wanted to paint. What I needed to paint. I let my blade dance across your skin and my brush fly across the canvas. That perfect crimson color. And finally, my piece was complete. My perfect ode to you. A love letter thanking the universe for bringing me such an angel. And now you get to live here, immortalized forever on my canvas. Here with me. My favorite muse. My favorite little mess. Chaotic and beautiful.